Speak my dear beauty. So I decided to shoot this video for you. That's exactly what it was when Russian. We have videos on the internet about him, but they seem today's. It's been almost 2 years they've been using them. 1 year and 9 months. Has something explains it, all ovens may need. Worth it too. To help the 6. You can use it. Here with graph. Great, you know. In seconds. Can also use. I wanted it here. And a minute.
Certo? E aqui minuto também, tá?
I'll teach you first. Filled using was 4:1. Are 4 candles in that second. To make them an interpretation here has a small of a certain minute than he of the minute. Merger. It was the inclusion of 4 years of 15 seconds. Then he kept the new ones. It would be using bathrooms without holographic, sometimes uncertain, fill. These performance graphs. Looking only at the volume stream, in. We look at the volume that will be. At first, what are you going to do here? I've been teaching, full of you using it. It was simple. Along with the lateral. In conjunction with the internal flow of the candle. We see in part. You operating with all 3 of activity increases a lot, but what turns out? Leaving more complex by training for the most powerful of the time. See more confusion. Fall in love when it was having more experience than is the case, I no longer look at. Which? Already. I just observe. These points here. Left on the side. Watch the symbols. I didn't even get there, too possessive, looking here at the demographic situation, until there. No. Why it's happening, dunno. If that default is that default. 6. Only I demographic identify with the pattern to condition. Currently on the chart. I'm going to teach them all to you. I believe you maybe you don't operate the years when the most complicated part is bird operators. The simplest part for your fair. Overcoming, looking at flow employees here. Of that pattern that leaves. In conjunction with this here. Because it's once again the party knows, in case, that standard thing. That candle of a boy. Here also arrived even the candle. Of course not looking inside the 15 seconds. Here, this pattern that has another meaning. This meaning start. For you now. So, look at it like this. Here too. Here when he left. This number. Here, as the price of the fall. It means for me a resistance, identify this resistance, this value here. Here in my grave. A form, so that 8 half 8, do. 359 I find here. Rectory 8, 2, 359. We get huge, I thought. About getting that figure here. 200 with huge, which is the same value that is here. What happens here is my support. How does it change? Full, left. Attentive, realized because sometimes out of nowhere, he leaves a lot of support with another value here, understood the whole room in which, for now, my last, the existence of a serious disease here, is in a direct fall. Or I'll let you mark it here. That adds, geographic. When will I expect that operate? That a sequence of high frequent discharge will be the consequence that, as I endured, operates that standard here? What does this pattern that? Here he means, watch out. Careful here. You want to say to whom? If even who has to be careful. Be careful. So I'll await what? He do. This is gonna leave me one more booth. Steering wheel. Price here, was not leaving. Considering whether here my support. I'm sorry. Each part was exchanged touch more. So that left another existence. So that left another existence. But in low. Left a resistance that is pretty much the same as they were. Existing here at 8008, 2, 357. It ends. It hasn't changed much for me. 88, 2, 357.
Baixar pouquinho só aqui. Pronto. Ele está indicando. Então,
In what way they're going to operate here? We realize. Standard that has a neighboring room. This room in the middle. That line that. He means this right here. So, that I'm going to operate. He next. That's going to do. Will leave. The standards that still. It is not known. Who is? Who? Who's still going? You may not even have a surest. Dumb, who gave the red? Large lace. Red. That little tell me that. Says the team found more resistance. Here, the market will fall again. Writes, hold on. What it will even close down that I enter sold, that region. Does exactly. What is it? What does the symbol mean? He's still low, about. From, twos.
3 certo? Aí ele rompe.
Deci a little bit. Can even make an audience here, then come back. To build, to whom? Draws, which means exactly.
Isso aí. Ó,
Principal left. Let. Here too. 86, 82, 357. That was marked here. Spent. Back, didn't come back, it wasn't triggered. Waiting. It can be very operating. These patterns here. So the courses stop at one of the restaurants happen for me to enter. Perform 6. The video is going to get pretty long. Because that's a lot of patterns to explain myself to you. If I pick up now, operational. All these patterns here. Patterns in. That they are high, 4. More patterns. Kenny's underneath, which are also rooms. Explain to you for now that nothing happens, all serious to show. Because this is written careful. Because we've been waiting here for 15 seconds. In seconds. It's very difficult. I have a reconnaissance to keep moving. That's why you be very careful. Who 15, according to perception of movement. He was very poor. The perception of movement. She's very poor. So, if I were. But switch recovery. I would have more of this activity in this paragraph. As my assertiveness, as I have already learned well. Look at Brazil, according to understand the patterns that I want themselves. If the time of God. History. U. In dollar. I let it was just in north. Because he didn't hear about it, so, is simply that it is important to teach old class. To the standards? So let me go. It doesn't operate for me, it counts. Demos. For me to have meaning the values, here I will not always give fixed, enjoy relay. I've put up 50 doses for myself, but the demonstration for you continues to operate more, my name to come out. But since today is other sessions of 3, a Friday. Be afraid. This indicator, the corner and it does not work. If you're going to look.
Ele vai ter.
Here, need. Operate here another recipe.
Ó, ele dá a opção de separar.
But here it looks like it's on the side of the name all pretty long. Just me normally. It works the third, no. In other years and other assets as well, only. Ended in the same. Operating. Leave here the 6. It was targeted for the week.
Mercado.
The first kick of the park, indicating how, engine, explaining, registering, has already asked for the full purchase. You can't have other purchased. Any pattern he made here for you to understand. A pattern of purchase. But I realized that the support here still gave 3 little red ones to choose from. Did the breakup, came back and went up. Right, but that was it. 3, 2, from the red. The government made a move.
E subiu. Certo?
3 that in the red? So I understand. Didactics. What? This. Is the same? This right here. It's hard for you, too. It wasn't easy for me either, but I learned. So that was the default. Those which means who of the red.
15 segundos, certo? Segundo, certo?
And here it means that I grain. And here will be that it did not come great. There's a lot of chemistry in Rio Grande. So, that is practically. Is, pretty much this here. Is the price falling here? Then the volumes of large. Small shrinkage. And the thing went up. It's harder. Would you interpret? Focus another way why you're not looking here. It would be, if you had been operating here in the minute. People operating here in the minute any be the ash form, look at this here. Another form of summer. We would be. You're looking at this one that in a similar standard minute, that is, it would be in the case here. I wanted to do. He left a bay. Went. With this belly here. Which indicates that I seem to climb. Or would it look like it? Only at the same time, your belly. Part 2000. Here come the ones who have less than we gave. And that belly that would be. My old congresswoman's, how I managed to operate that standard. Thurs. Parana made the pattern. I like it for that pattern, bring me here. Because my reading gets thinner and greater receptivity. That's why I would operate that, you can hear. No. No, this pattern here, which is easier, we must get. In June the opposite. In June, the opposite. Otherwise, you can reverse the input, and looking at this pattern. Hardly I a false positive entrance on the floor. Because it can generate a stream from this one. At that moment, that stream. Here, buyer of this hot. And then I get what, let's say it generated this flow, does not also reveal. I get bought here for the continuation of the movement is the opposite force knocking down prices. Had ended up catching a false positive. So it already in that pattern that I only if positive are harder to happen. Show with the best. The support here, numbers plus no other point, here no. 882, 3, 40. From here to half 823.
341.
That is, now that I will expect your market standards. Let's go to the market fall, engage. Any pattern here is forming. In line with that with influence. The pattern here and confluence that are getting in the way of our point, no. Now the activity of the fish has fallen a bit. Period ago that was. Well.
O tipo de X é volátil.
Who needed to operate. The indicator shows China. It is good to do reading, budget to overcome the. That would generate multiple entries here. Various patterns, est, would come here. Plus an audio pattern. Here, I had a lot of gypsies, leave it, I ended up taking it out. But I work with the Navy, doesn't work twice. Against this unvolatile, usually the lines that is the milestone, admitting her. That's because they have to me no. But in Congress, which is unvolatile, I don't take from the popular enough, who works with only one job, to work. Only with support, but it has to be fine. The one who left the club to my.
Certo.
A great one that. I can use that build-up, that, because I fear that, because it would be just this commotion here. This correlation here? If this notion. A region to support more. I can look at that even very left. Italian to the region in the same way as the beach. So, that already standard condition, that's what fell and went up. For the third personal version, where you will have more time to win. To win, understood? I have entered the maximum according to the 15-second candle, has more offices, have to pay attention to than would have entered this novel. For me the image wins. Can, even sometimes, give you the ability to cross out in. Would not be the right. Different, here too. You just left it here. I told you can't let a. The region for me. Anyway. The lower one. Too much half. 8, 2, 358. In the middle of 2, 358. Nothing else. It's in June had just for you here and now. Context that goes to the red pattern. Market goes under.
Vai dar repique e a tendência é o subindo. Isso aqui é meu suporte, né?
The trend is to make a ghost pattern here. Goals. 2 programs, will do now. This pattern. Or this pattern at this pattern here. An attempt to break up support the market returns to rise. And that is a continuation of the mark trend. You can come. Here happened a. Standard 10 show, E to stay covered up, will or will not have a beautiful against. The international in the full table against what? Say that this way for me. What to expect? What's going to happen now?
Já tô com...
It's going to happen now. I've got 20 minutes of video. There's no entry yet, but... I looked. You left me a little resistance. That she knows here. A resident? On the chart? For me. Have a support here, a resident, pick up one more. Good news now.
Fazer falta do Lauzinho, vou pegar mais uma linha.
Is a line.
Verde e uma vermelha.
So,
A linha verde vai ser de baixo.
difficult.
A linha pra cima. Vou deletar essa linha aqui e vou pegar uma vermelha pra pôr aqui. E a vermelha.
I owe it.
Quero duas linhas.
It has no support, a resistance that was set by the price. There's one more logic. Make 58 even though it's here. This one here. Then several shock to tell to the family. Pick up a first in the middle of the movement, even because. Still in the second the candle has no more. You're winning, even if you catch in the middle of the movement. She did what is the red pattern. 3 them red, be that pattern. A 15. Because this right here. Modified in the approaching veil. Condition does not see. A candle. Another sailing ski on your travel. A word that. We help. That's how it does most for you to understand. Again in my region. Look at this left. Junior left. Left at least. To buy here. So what am I doing here? I'm picking up this serious pattern. Because it only turns out red here. I think she was. Came close to the region I do. I think it's the confluence with this here. That we would be fishing to his vacancy, nothing else here. So it's more or minus 6. Patterns in line with each other. I know I have more time. I know I have more. Presidency should leave the new standard. Development. Of the plague. Among the others, the accomplishments for the confirmation of this end of entry. Because confirmation, because I have no involvement with the government, there's no very small chance of winning.
Aqui no
8008. 2363.
682.
For example. In the middle of. Chart. 3 years, session. Full. I ended up not only so I ended up winning in a month. Now, empower the red. Respect for my region, which. Strong respected. More information through new contract. What did he do? Precisely repetition of this pattern here. Retracted the candle. You've seen yourself, so it would be like this program. Elaborate as I'm so used to proceed, say here I no longer look lower than the standard eye going on here. No longer even in looks too down at the drawing, do not say the norm. That's going on. Here in the show. The show not 8 half 8, 2, 3 years. It's the same as here, so I found. Call each.
Na verdade, só para mim não esquecer. Bom.
So we've already got it. This pattern is already here twice. Meanwhile, the cheerleader. But I believe that you understand how a pattern works. I did not understand others either. For example, this pattern there was compliance. Actually, it was a check. So just so you can understand that you can develop, and I ended up delivering cabins left for you. This pattern here. Made. What you gave. It was this pattern that. Because. I had my own region here. There was this region that. This region here. He made a. Big. There. Gave this one who gave the red here. Let who of the red here. Because here, after the movement from high to just as it was delivered to the fulfillment. Now let's wait. Because he leaves others, because other president, another accumulation.
Aqui
Another one with our company here.
no meu
First minors of show.
vertical.
In fact, I can consider it here, this region.
Como suporte.
What we've discovered full force, mosquito.
Ó.
8 half 8, 2, 369. 8, 3, 63 years is minus that. It also pays to stir in the region, this. The 2 then.
Que é 86.
8 and a half 8 2 gifts feel 9.
269. Aqui.
The sock.
86, 82, 360.
Let.
Mais tem pra cima. Aqui. 369. Perceba que foi bem onde ele.
Respect. Is a pattern. Already the default. All. It takes a lot of entry, practically a second what we buy, you will always be predicted to enter. Look at the weather. And at most those who can catch will be able to. I mean, with a pattern that did it could respect. The price. Came from above. Hit my region that. I. Then say, I know it's a little confusing. This pattern here. Then say, I know it's a little confusing. This pattern here. A pattern similar to Messi. Sorry no more. Look like this. Here they live in the pattern of high and fall in the pattern below. This universe from here. Public was for you. Meet at most, second. Shaft. Late Valley of Revolt in the region. Is not. To the red that you will wait now. The version, paper. Reversal, development.
Movimento. Tá com a região da acumulação aí.
For you is at maximum, understood if it goes to the second.
Deixa eu esperar nem um minuto não.
At 7 minutes. In exchange for the 30 seconds. To stay for the same old woman. The next candle. The country no longer have an activity, so approach facing so that the problem is, for example, the large producer who. Without this indicator here always thousand to be always the next. Of my support, or buy because I can maintain a resistance to the sale for the next. Of booking by Congress. Solved. As she sees it with a lot of cause, not enough to come much Brazil. Then I get it too. Towards. Caught even the candle. But with a candle. Up to the little fuse, huh? 2. For the next time? So you've already left me one more support here. 86. 332 will suffer. Much stronger. 3 years 72. 200.
372. Caraca, 378. 372. Fica bem exato, tá?
Senora. Ultimate sense of this. The last of this you don't look.
Deixa eu piscar aqui, ó.
The latter said that it is huge. So that this news does not show that. The best of the show. 892, 372. 22. Gets very easier. 6. The people. Is with 300.
86.
There are 7 to the others. 177. 2.
372. Sabia que tinha uma coisa errada aqui, ó.
Now, God last 2 of us that. Only very elaborate, because another demonstrates. 372 checks. Was. The presence of 2-2 for the match. Beauty. For now, I don't do anything. Waiting there. Touch in my region, from the accumulation we bring. Keeping 2. We have 2. 2 that your protection for. People 70 and 2-2.
Aqui eu tenho uma região da
It's not that strong. I'll find A. Arrives precisely because this country only promotes above, which 375. Right here. Leaves, I think, I am because.
no mercado tá lá.
Held here for meeting. National has to climb. You have nothing to do. See edital video accelerates some brands of practice very long. State. Very late, video. I need to learn. Some, learn then. Arrive a few matches, pick up more part of the entrance.
Explicando a entrada deles.
This could pass more than it has a drop pattern. Unfortunately, taps they 20 short. Not me since the end of the series when it makes that pattern. This right here. Began to draw itself. Is that high? I get here stays exactly that right here. Or this here. Severe, which can provoke the updated total. In my region of accumulation. Where hope here, I will find, perhaps I would find a recent. Let. The support that left the bracket.
Legal. Legal.
I can consider it a support, already. 376. Here too. Will. A pattern, leave here and. Here will go through. The man left. To the village. But the time already passed.
Dos 20 segundos. Vamos ver como é que vai.
In addition to the nightclub.
Na verdade.
On top of. He buys yet. Bought this look. No, you have this center breakup, account. Pattern you left here. The duties. This can be here again. Exactly that pattern again. What it was, since in the first country, proposing here. Confluence with that belly that is. Resembled. This region as in action that timein.
Podia ter marcado ela como suporte já. Essa que tá aqui embaixo.
She.
Lá em cima. E jogar essa aqui.
1. That is, every time a strong sequence. Hit us have fallen. That is. These can here. This pattern here. Now. Debated because they are the one who read her. It can be. This program. Seemed because now not if before did not give. For contracts. What does this show mean? So only guideline where it's okay, I already needed it. Already also. Had already been out of price. You get over it, little thing. Promise things documents, now. Here's in the 8.5. 8.2. We have to fall. Here are 8.5. 8.2. Agent 81. 8.5 of 2, 383. We try to follow here. Then it was affected by operation. Why would it be local del? We have, details. The line. It's alright. Conflicts here don't fit. Now I see why the mayor might happen. Have it been like that? Gave sequence of a green candle. And it rains. What would that be? It may be that. Then high. Purchase input here for the support.
Certo?
It's just that. Keep an eye out for details. Because I wasn't. Right location exactly. At the right price. See also price here. Avoided confluence exactly when. Who just got work. Price. I ended up missing a high Sunday move. I ended up losing it because of this. It's not easy. We have to be stretching from the entrance, much easier. It's only going in. The partner make a profit. I myself have difficulty of summer that has passed, offers us. Then record tracks explaining. I don't usually do that. When will sign I prefer, even I lose Andre. Luis Fernando of the formation, because I recorded operating video to then explain so that it gets much easier for us. But it's not just the October oath. I don't like you. And that video, after recording the next actions, which is not known, his training, formed also. You. Turns out to be so, the person questions. Fair knows now with time, such as defending itself from the market. Augusta, criticized for operating low. Come on, it works, which you won't have with real values. Of a good idea, which do not involve money. For today's finals, this has Sabbath, meta, sum. I operate 3-2. I would never look cool on 3. Here is only because the sensitivity that just a target wanted to learn how it works like this. To us. I'll wait to point at me. Existing. For now the worry. Big. Attentive. I think he can change because I like. Present. Already left. I didn't want to. This, I got this. President, only when I. Bro, they didn't have. Support for setting. Support to set. I ended up losing your sale. Now I'm done. We define, can have and not. No. I fought a lot less.
Aqui eu tenho um acúmulo.
384 to play to stay. How much is it going to change? A lot. What I think you're gonna respect. Any cup pattern here may be respected, only in her.
Já respeitou. Esse padrão, ela veio.
Is a little more support.
E voltou. Ou
Can be from here. By the idea, left that time that broke.
então é esse aqui mesmo.
Now that he's made pattern.
Esse padrão agora que ele está concluindo esse padrão aqui.
Things you've committed. An error. Wait. I thought the state won't be able to vote for the other one yet. In the end, the pattern you made here was exactly. Squad. God for this, that of the red. We just want to be red here. but only beneath mine that I can. Below. Father, entered a large stream in the source. To climb up. They could have entered here in the region.
Essa região aqui tem entrado.
But who? Norms loses 2n. So. Just to explain the process, understand. Hottest from the fall. To the Iraqi left. Ruptured. Your support. We have. He made one. Who's a big laugh at how? In addition to the big gold buying, for sure. He broke up. You can. More here cost, do not know. Exactly of cinema, which had climbed. During. Conforming this pattern here. Wait to bring.
Correto? 8682-387. Aqui tá com 380.
Force.
Esse 380 e... 8682-385, 87.
High sequent Ritalin. Can give the red support. That this pattern here goes up. No. Now wait when 6 caught a case for his vote. I'm counting the price. I'm coming back.
Próxima resistência.
Make that pattern that now. Making. What you're buying, you should make the pattern. Also, I said I could already understand it as a pattern, but with a lot explaining to you, you have to respect. From here, too, had a build-up.
Ó. No.
With 391. Present, we would not. White cars live.
89.
But less here made that pattern. For those who have not left. Could have come in here. Stronger, which I prefer to wait. Happen here because the build-up here in this region is much greater than the hour of rain too. How big here? 390. Rose to 390. For you, effect. Made this move here in this movement here, made here. Because he had not left it to anyone, if left now. Late support, but I can get in. Strong. Can wait a little down Amazonas that pattern that again. A little bit then I'd buy it. Unfortunately, the chapadao for me to come in here made the formation of a pattern. Likes the movement. But I've eaten, it's changed how Regina support. That's why I came in. Here I have this pattern at the time of making the World Cup. So, I leave here. The shows, which obviously because if this here. Yet. There are, second to rise the president return to rise. Partner who do well looking. Market came from below. Practiced by means of low. And left the two who's still here. And left two Thursday. You're gonna hit mine, 'cause you can't. Against the big stream, as, change, surpassing. Realize it's not that complicated. I think it works. I don't deliver. The default because the medium does not pay the destination of that exporter. It happened. Over time, are picking up to explain whether in the arm to analyze whether to leave account that I'm analyzing, complained of the president in November. That's here. Then it is known that when it rains John a sovereign neither bring. Here's a build-up, here. Did not leave. This value, comes here giving, left here, but I know I can use. The support. The same thing that began to make a build-up that. It may leave no more information that was great after using that region that. Unfortunately the chapadao for me to come in here, made the formation of a pattern. Likes the movement. But I've eaten, it's changed how Regina support. That's why I came in. Here I have this pattern at the time of making the World Cup. So, I leave here. The shows, which obviously because if this here. Yet. There are, second to rise the president return to rise. Partner who do well looking. Market came from below. Practiced by means of low. And left the two who's still here. And left two Thursday. You're gonna hit mine, 'cause you can't. Against the big stream, as, change, surpassing. Realize it's not that complicated. I think it works. I don't deliver. The default because the media does not pay for the destination of that exporter. It happened. So over time they're picking up for themselves as a cashier at bras assortment. May have already Several purchases of 3, which the famous thinking it was going to fall does not fall. Because I didn't analyze the table of that. Of this pattern. Indicates sale. In the case of our. In the region of this. It turned out, so do not subsidize purchase. It comes from making this pattern. And ended up forming that pattern that again. Which is the selling price. People having. Breaking up my region, wherefore. In my region. I ended up delivering. Because I didn't wait.
Simplesmente isso, eu não esperei.
It was object with a class order. Already. Now there's no sign of overcoming another pattern because don't complain already. I think you must have understood the speculation, squadrons here. That pattern that is nothing else than the famous existing. They must knock. The number. Tumbled.
Certo?
This pattern here. Nothing else is that. Support came to hit a sport, came back. Can even look and follow already those 18 and 8 disputed, would lose because that closed Gonzaga, who did this, did it then rose, needed. Because I closed. To express from them then.
aqui.
Because I closed. To express them, coming. Posted operating in a minute. And here it is for the 5 minutes. People hours. Let's go on more. What happens is that we are. Be today. Can you imagine? I have. The red pattern. Because there comes a pattern. When Shakya.
Padrão verde. Que aqui vai dar vermelho, certo? Aqui, aqui é vermelho, certo?
Infographic does. He comes so that he gives PT the ideal spot. Another that is ideal. Tapped. My support. It still can't be a candle itself. She broke up. And left the fuse. He came back last year. Project. Nothing more than here. She knocked, broke and came back, leaving the fuse. In another play, any more requests? Go. So this is the program because there are. Because it's exactly just happened here. I had a region here. To the chamber. For you. My price is high. We'll get what left that red. Another vehicle, crashed, fell. Didn't do it, the check. Did the same time, is here in the region of the strong. By voting on the mosquito for sale. Right in the region that the pain. 86, 82 400.
107.
But here. Same, except here. Same. Region that this region. Got stuck, did. I mean who thinks? Lost, who, high. He read, gave discharge, fell. This is exactly this one.
Certo?
It came from low price. He read. I want it discharged. I liked it. Understand how it works. And here. Mine is rightly. And here. Beauty. So, these patterns, basically 26 operate this in the area if you should try to interpret. He shows up here. Now there's another way to have that shape. Most people use it, which is simpler and less objective. My hard point. My point of view is no less assertive. For this, we are very attentive in the case of explaining. explaining and operating, so I don't have so much concentration to operate. But this is the way more this sense. So maybe I know how many are good, each. Stay help from any other form of its operations. Drawing. 6. Will take.
Os desenhos. Isso aqui é cores. Cor. Ó, os desenhos aqui.
Thereupon. Operations as it is that only by blackmail gets much less polluted her to get there, but only to help. Whom? Look this here left that. 405 excess support consenting to the park key 25. 405. 2, 3 and 4. 400. And. Yes. Were by my support from 5, that is, the red pattern. To the red. In what way? Your elaborate design, it is not. With the drawings, only without looking at the inside of them. Because of handball. Now. Conquered a building that not only expect. Locally called.
Essa é uma das formas de operar. Procura minuto. Beleza.
The one here. Now, if there are a minute. It was 405 here I have support, it's turning tough. Now, what happens? Before the seconds? That symbol for me? I want to pay 4-5 that. Now is no longer. Then him, for me. That pattern it will actually go so. Plus. Just means. More. That means. For me, just. Have ceased to operate. As possible to operate, I have my support set here can't be 5, 2. From here to 25 2000, support. To the famous for checks occurred because here I won't buy because we don't have 3 seconds. Her recomposed from her. But before turning here to the 30 seconds, a record. I'm not going in. I'm not going in. Because I'd come in. Because this pattern. But it was just the belly here, because it would be that pattern at the belly that indicate the high movement. Here you have from when. Can you see with the red belly? Can you break up? The breakup is doing, isn't it, Charles? Movement of this do what? She hasn't left the value to me there yet, but I can beautiful, find out any.
Tá. Vamos ver aqui, ó.
Us, 7.
Ó.
Along with this breakup pattern,
De rompimento.
now I cannot treat that pass 2. You're in second position. But he left for non-compliance for me. For you I asked for some quoted, I've been losing. Deputies came losing. Because I have to be looking here, you have to be explaining here in the house explaining to make entry thing. Because, I think you're worried about my tickets. Amount. To learn. To understand.
Como que você utiliza.
Now may well make Quebec public with the pattern to leave for me this pattern here. That is, I read in. Read. As the rule. Other practices. cannot have trend continuation. This pattern here. Why this pattern if question pending? Because he made one that's still high, left. The party can, I'm particularly interested as your godparents. Then he continued. Then a sequence of high. In a minute. I consider it much easier to understand for him in the world. Only those same effective.
Tá.
With 1 hour and 5 federal minutes. I'll try to pick up the patterns from now. The drawings. Up to the examples to get easy, because it's when the Brazilian government is not standard, red is to make it old. Red head. The red pattern.
Cabeça vermelha, então
For the government of Maranhão. Red head. The red pattern with nurse head. Difficult gets hard in the 6 corals. Groups. Workers. Yes, by saying that she can hold. What happens? Verity standard operates here. 4. When I want to see. With a red belly, with a green belly. Or who gave money. With the head. Focused. You don't know your green belly? Because it's going to crash. He did not stand the belly of the old red because it will. I bought it. Will break bracket. In the belly. I think you should know how to keep up. My air body with a red head. You'll respect it. There are.
entendeu? Opa, vou pegar a borracha.
There is also a discount. The Brazilian pattern arrives red, with a red head. What you're going to offer? The fish? We realize that this pattern here. Already in your M. It's a lot like this. Default here. Understood. That this one here. Any difference, buy. That pattern that the price is, life underneath. Makes the second game, false. This here. Under this 20, up excuse that the price of the industry in this.
Ah, não, tá certo? Meu Deus do céu. Então,
Here, or providers below.
você
Leave here to be in the debate. That is, has risen in the market. Then it breaks my resistance, makes a PVC 4 seconds and falls back. This family price above. It contains my support, due through mech in my support. 4 seconds. And 1 minute, don't let. On 4 seconds posted. In the minutes, don't let. That's why, in a minute you won't look. For these symbols as if it were. 4. Who did you get? That's why I left it here. A minute? Is that the minute A? Minute. This here is being a minute too. First. So giving you a minute. No longer looks protect.
interno dele.
So he left a resistance to me in China. When I state for you that I want it to be more human, because this residence.
Opa, eu esqueci dele. Vou pegar o mouse de volta.
To 19.
Esse 4 aqui na 419. Deixa eu pôr em
Existence we're having now.
Ó,
4 out of the 18 and changed. Ruptured. I was hoping.
back. Oh,
Splatadenia, slap on her show. Leaving. To end the next season for even. The oldest of the others, because. The rigor of the law I went down. The shock of the engine chief, operating the breakup because his pocket fulfillment.
esquerdo aí. Vamos ver. Se não trola no final, vai dar win.
It has to assail.
Vendo aí. Bem no finalzinho, provento. Ó, aqui, ó.
B.
Vai ser esse padrão aqui agora. Vai ser esse padrão. Opa. Tô com $5 só. Padrão.
In Terracina, it wasn't.
Tô com $5 só. Padrão. Acabei.
Pereira wasn't in the Padroni group. Other. For you who would expect the audience here we can wait, has the judge.
Esse mesmo aqui. Esperado pro back tinha dado win.
That is nothing more than to expect that pattern. The debate. Here too. Between the purchase and took.
Ele volta. O preço volta.
To look good. Is the price.
Em cima. Certo.
Between the purchase options. And only. That's this right here. For China. Compares. The price rose also that entered new sale.
Na verdade, a minha resistência. Ah, é.
While I in 2423. The president no longer to China.
Tô no 423. Tô
When we.
aqui, ó.
Once again it's been for you. Pay attention. Where is it going down? That's what you're going to define. That's what's going to define the workout. And activities, full. Of a pattern of breakup, which was. Big breakup, came to hit mine. Has charm. And it was just that right here. It's a powerful medium. Until at least has hindered down. As I was with my people, be under the total for breakup. In the end it was tougher. Others fell.
Dá um
The price fell. Then the site supplement of the portal price now wrong. Here too. However, it does not pay. 423. 3% to full. Thereupon, I speak. This pattern, more complicated to overcome. It stays because I think most of all. The power what happened here was this one. This belly here. That is nothing more to do.
aqui, ó. Ó.
This one goes here. Hit the sport of this. The most, such as. I was with this region of mine, which down here. Mental, stops in the movement. Things that happen. That's why space people, but I had surgery. It's picking up. The false move, caught fire, breakup. Pleases the greetings. But the question highlighted when evil, since they cherish the same, did not expect the drone's mode, which black was the highest index of January. Because the population of the region of the motion that outside already makes tribute to Martin. Because one time or another we'll call region of existing ports, but the thing that left nothing that. 17. But.
Região da resistência. Não, 417.
One up a point home. We, in this century.
Olha.
If I had to have my line that before. Not having entered in with a purchase. Because.
Aqui, ó.
Trump did it here. We'll be able to read with a green belly. With barricades. Chile. It would be that. Would it be? Here would be that. No. Belly green.
Lembra os gaúchos.
Southern sweetheart. They're not in the last round of a neighborhood. Now as it's happening here, it's. Just look at the boss, who gave it here. Close with your head held high. Means you're a continent. Government. Lax. Second, close. Already with the red head. Means we're respecting the support. They're the sale.
Ó, cabeça.
Red sale talked about the purchase.
Achando verde.
Rain. Buy. Understand that. Old head. Budgets. It's against. Because now my generation is going to work. Because my region, which can pass. The 3. So, I'm seeing how they can rely on the low indicator. 3. So I'm seeing you can trust the indicator. Bastos is putting the finish line.
Certo.
Was between $5. More, access to new cases. Displaced 50, order your contract now arrived. Against Brazil.
Aí, ó.
Now that I'm coming in here. This pattern that. Marked market comes from below. You'll be on my line. You're gonna tell me. Studied, purchase loading. Operators may. This beautiful plate there was. Purchased.
Vamos ver aqui. Verde, cabeça. Não, virou pra vermelha já.
Very. Red, barrel's view.
Prado.
May. Shelters green. Next to the part of the EC Education Amendment, part would have bought. 3.
Vermelho. Vermelho.
For Golbe. Corn.
Barriga verde. Mais um acerto.
What easier to interpret as I'm giving details. Has a regional like here. 420. Waiting, left the round of the test not. 5. Whereupon 425 is going to be my region off. When support. This year's support left. Flavius will fall into these. Purchased. To her next one. With a pattern that I entered that. Standard workout. That read friendly. January housed. First.
Verde com preço.
Underneath back. The next. Low is for June. Realize that now that you've let him downgrade, anticipated, who managed to pick up their chances of the subway that practically invests in judged, as soon as you let. I have judged my best. Have to pay attention to these details. Of the state of losing. Lost to sane. Also uncontrollable. In the end, it said that it happened. Banged. What has been causing a video that a little bit of just gave me in the brokerage article was not more varied. Assessed. I was no longer available. From there, we are rates. Could be someone who drives when they leave ice at the realtor. It didn't happen. Has arrived. Mouth can reach a region of as very large that China.
Em cima.
Support 4. Attendances was the support. We'll also have overcoming that then shot back. Fit. However. But those that are standard. Friendly. Does that mean? Here we'll enter, but also because for you remember.
Aqui eu
Here you go in. But also because for you to remember here the barrel pattern.
verde. Barriga verde.
The price up. See, however. Just a fuse. This green belly gave to this pavilion. That form your belly. It's really forming. You can take the author of this one candle with a turn. Let any belly reinforcement see that. That to me is indicative that the price is going up. He made twice the same pattern as. Twice that pattern. I feel like I'm falling. For you, who is not so 7. Gives much more about positives. It was. I think that kind of operational. It was difficult. 6 understood? So why aren't we? Now we're going. If you take more of that entrance, in a region that. It's going to be a breakup.
Suporte.
Entered a next to Bethlehem. Respecting. Will respect because.
Ó. Aqui, ó, esse mesmo padrão aqui.
Did not respect, made this pattern. To respect or did not respect. We want to be decided. Will be offered. Therefore, it is no longer true for what I'm going to do now. I'm going to operate differently. Now, the total number of games we'll be able to draw here. We can say here, operated in 5 minutes. Switch here to 5 minutes. Then wait, use torch.
Deu win.
We're here for 5,000. August stops in 5 minutes. They can leave the 2 minutes, both here. Rain. Can leave that both here and grief. A farm. Near the game. And operated once the cooperating form, no certain, look at the formation of watching, here you come in. Was the best thing for in 5 minutes for a minute. Are you going to operate the same way? It's not operating. Which is that of 1, for a group, you say. Now from 4 to 1, which is suitable for A. It's to the indicator, 5. If you keep operating here,
Minuto. Certo?
suitable for A,
Minuto. Certo?
suitable for any little rules. The rule comes in. When I was operating, the same pity is here in 1 minute and here 15 seconds. So 4 to 1. Right is the name of the event. Why? 'Cause that's 5 to 5 that we form. I get here. About 5 years here, not here. When something was not here with a minute and here with 15 seconds operational was born even. It's not enough, I was hoping. 4-5 Kuros. Graduates. In addition, here 4-5 years to graduate, it was said that. I mean here. Now. Arrived, be the workers 5 minutes.
Deixa aqui.
5 minutes.
Certo?
A paradise. When I'm for no one, for me.
É 5 minutos, né? 5 segundos.
Was operated 1 for 1. I will not operate on the swish. Is to operate this here as a whole as being the only one he.
Ó, esse aqui sendo o único candle. Esse aqui é um único candle, esse aqui é um único candle. Daí,
This pattern here. Pick up, that is now, at this very moment this pattern turns into that. At this very moment.
aí, ó. Certo? Então, esse
To turn that pattern that against. That is,
eu vou comprar.
that is. No more, so much so that it was new, now. The excuse he won't find. A 10. 1010, we guarantee that for me it will buy. Now the pattern that from 1 to 1 feel very straight for the new 6. Because here my purchase is also for 5,000 frequented for a minute is high, but by check or will wait 21,010. Bought for 21,010. Tens. And another against.
Vai ser pra 20.
1 and 15. On the next purchase. Purchase checks to be purchased in the next standard. Here for 5 minutes. Nor operator.
Que nem eu tava operando com 1 minuto.
Look here as being any. And you see that as being the only Kenny. Not leaving much. Up to 5 minutes, with much less transferred employees, who have 5 minutes to do training here. Then the 5-minute analysis. She can be much more objective, transforming this pattern that this could form here. With my support.
Suporte aqui.
It doesn't get assertive anymore. Now, you can operate too. For 4. When here. Illuminated. If I had a minute here in 15 seconds. But I think in the 5 minutes here in the minute. The eyes that way. Also for 4. Now yes, from 1 to 4. Operate shaft straws. That performance so that I am. 4 who says here the best training of this. Why? So he told you it is best for 5 to 5 and lost to the cruise. Goes from the search, cannot be to leave better than.
De para
As you usually operate here, being very. But also operate. This here with a minute. And here in 15 seconds. So I pulled operates for 4, 100. For 4, always. Here on. For 4, that is, the transformation of 15. That. Gave a red. To make small. What? There too. R, that is. I had already bought it. You're not buying right now because. To know that she can contact you. I went to the table for the next time. But without changing the time you ended up buying for. Itself the interest.
Agora já foi. Mando.
What movement is this? Today here, that. This? So, that is. I had already bought it. Is not buying now because. Know that she can contact. Be delivered to the table for the next time. The system gives you the time you ended up buying for China. Threes.
Agora já foi. Mando, comprei aqui, ó.
So when you do it here, with 5 minutes here, 5 minutes. For just 5 minutes, because it's operating that pattern here. Now. When 2 for that pattern form here to say that super rises to 50 below, will regain that desire that operants for A. Isabel is surprised. Like the one that's operating with 5 to 1. You have to wait for a pattern of several that's still for me to enter. To form. The drawing is in here. Now you found Topper in 5 minutes. Back here. My purchase here will be for 5 minutes. Now he's back here. My purchase here will be for 5 minutes. Now back to 5 minutes from now, operating here in 1 minute, I'm gonna expect a pattern of 4, 5 them to form that drawing in here, right? For me to get in here. But my hunger for you, for a minute. Not in the head. Just like that. With time we get used to it. So let's see here where our supports are here. 4, 7, 4, 18, low, which? The entry. More for the moment will end up giving up, a resistance that accumulates. May incident now left in the agency. In that country. Just one thing.
Não fez acúmulo, foi lá e voltou.
He can sell, that no, I can't. I'm operating. Draws. This here. This right here. So the word escaped. Now I'm taking this pattern that confluates with the drawings. And you know that I have in support here a resistance that I cannot enter into politics. Because it's a strategy. For this here I am now seeing. You can form that. That the nurse who heads, green. Default. Stale. Redhead. Frame government redhead. That is. My low price pounding on the support splashed, fell. I needed down 4 brackets arrived. Now you're going to fall. I can come in here now I can, because it has already given me, they say, informed. 2. Why? Because already gave me say, reported. Standard. So, now I can treat. For more this caught you know bell? Cause he's gonna make a turn that little staircase. Next? No. If it is, for me to come in. Can be this.
Fica aqui, meu.
The next best. Forget about it. Once again here.
Nossa, sem delay, né?
I think now I've completed an entry my father. In the capital, Rome was not so unbelievable. Not by the ministry. With this offset. 427. 4, 113. Assists Young, had 1,427. Had already broken from the wrong entrance that. Glad 27-4. I had already broken up. For here. How did you get wrong? Default account since the purchase. Ye old people here, how do I do? They played 5 and a lot here. That he left the pattern that see ahead. Want to know?
Verde. Aqui pouquinho de vermelhinho. Aqui pouquinho de vermelhinho. Certo?
Belt of you see.
Padrão de compra.
Happening. You can take a car.
Certo?
Belt of you see.
Você vê. Padrão de compra.
Happening. Can wear the car, at the time of continuation, dependent. Important just to get involved.
Ai, 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 ai. Bom, gente.
1 hour and 36 of classes. I think you need to understand well how it goes, how it works, well if indicator. So I'm going to review from the beginning. That is, understand how it works. I'm gonna start backwards. Here I am at the beginning. 5. The volume of this wound in 5 minutes. Every pattern of that drawing, and side. Obligatorily has to be like in the 4 minutes of drawing. So if I'm here in the 5 minutes that here, with a minute, you have to expect a pattern of 4 to 5 years from here of drawing for graduates and here for me to get in. Now, I'm here. 5 minutes. Wait, cut out of the way. Your touch for 5 minutes. That is, 1-to-1. Luminous, 5 minutes. That is, 1-to-1. Minute here 5 minutes. What I'm going to operate. Somehow, this here is being one. Who not only. You just forgot drawing that has to be. I guess that's what I think he's just one for today. A background for a forgotten event. That will have as a situation who I just arrives, I look at that pattern. We stay here, a pattern off.
compra, certo? Então esse e esse são igualzinho.
We say they can for. The same. Today has already been surpassed. You operate, here. Right. And here. The minister, too. What am I gonna look at? And you see, being the only one who wants to be here is the only one who's forgotten, they say you have to have. Araujo forgotten president. In the points. That will change. The notice. I went in with influential people like poor areas, here they form a pattern like this. As advances, even saying here the sale, which is against. The sale and purchase. That buys it. Here having. What's here with what's here? To know what I do, this. For both. Now. Around 4 to 1. What here a minute? And here. 15 seconds. Do 1, 4 2, then yes. Happened there yes. I'm gonna use it here to do it. They build my entrances confluence 1,000 entries, but I'm going in with shyness. Formation leaves draws that. I blind. The energy of 4 years here. To form a game pattern too. That the paying, forming now that Henry quality. Because here. High bosses return to rise. Of high standard. But while many billions of years the port here 4 years ago, has too. You've already consolidated. Generated even stronger. Makeup. 447. People. Right here.
Ó, opa. Consegui levar minha 147 bem aqui, ó.
That is, exactly this desire. High. Shape. Resistant to. Quebec civil. The high made a small rose. Then my mother. Of my line from my line. Beauty. Second. Say that part of it. I used to operate, so they're much more accepted. So. It was like this. Here's this payment, political partner, because civilian with prices right below. You stay, the price came from below. He broke up. Then you played scrap Agenia here. He down. Broke up. Joined. Broke up, came back, I know, Cabral. The political partner because he served at a low price. You get the low price. He broke up. There he did a slap that. It low. Broke up. Joined. Broke up, came back, I know Cabral. Was exactly the same design. It gets easier, it comes to you. You can stay here. You're not. My line that. The right price. Had to save. My daughter, her too. The price indicated here. Had to just go wrong.
Certo?
Or if I enter late, for example, as operants here, that the second. You have to be careful here, that you can enter at most until 20 seconds shows. Did you find that? It's not that they get lost. Question off. Fidel. 5 to 1. From 4 to 1. Chart from 24 to 1. Minute and 4 hours. For no more. Half of her second here. Second, that is. 21 and 23, 3 and 15 gave a candle. 23:20. This second half of the second God has to enter. Center, then willpower, have great chances to catch the operation. It doesn't have to be very focused. Built like this. So, if you operate here. From 1 to. For 4. Because the seconds have to be done well. It has to be well in professional life generated by the fact that now has surpassed 1 to 4. The 5 minutes. It's not so. Because it's 1 to 4 to 5 minutes. It's here in 5 minutes and here the minute. For 4, 5 minutes, for 4 minutes. 4 minutes, now. Here. So that in the second here. Right now 1 to 4 seconds. I'd focus here, 5 minutes. Where suggestions, no longer have work time, gave 3. Assists. It has been defined whether it will miss less operation, because the existence, because. Smallest. Tough schools.
Certo?
Then the ways you can operate on that indicator. This way. Later I can. Is doing promotions. For example. It rained sphere, more days operating. It's separating. Each drawing that you put on the side took for the family for you to understand. Because a corporation, for example, that China. I'm looking. This is happening here. We can't and don't want to. Any?
Esse aqui. Certo?
See when being knew that he has a company. Dependencies, pick up intimacy with the chart. For you can understand how to reach different patterns of geography.
O horário que só está em alta de padrão de.
Fall, which is a large fall frame that, for example, I have my support. But it was a support this year.
Esse ficou feio. Aqui.
Here. Ever since it happened here. The price came from above. China. Broke and fell. They say he did. When they have to stay here. Chima fell again. It's hard to find that pattern.
Não precisa nem estar olhando para isso aqui, ó.
So I can speak low national face, drawing of it. Here too. You can't be here. A support here in the price leaves what the law 12,000 provides, here in the price. Leave what the law 12,000 does here so that it does not come and beat what came back. Different from the fares here, between. Dr. Father West. Is indifferent chosen here in time. The region of the support, there is evidence. That rule, this one has processed that as the bonus movie show for you. This is the big balcony. Until then this is not. All the time for you to be careful. With the question of the line you are right in the house. So. This is a crucial fact. Get till you are. You have here well marked. Well defined. Here too, exactly these people. You don't have to pay attention. You don't grow in peasant tea, inside. Do not need to try the time. This time here. If your line is well, a little card that doesn't even have to stay on my side future. You can forget about time. Because these turns into a pattern, if they form a bit of the old market of Argus. Left 2 gave 2. Later, I. You know he made pattern, predicts from here, did it here then breaks it. Forget the weather. The market will pull down, left the quadrants made that the sale is different from the weather. Since I understand myself well marked. Are going to pay at this table because the standard Paul. Market came. Knocking. Our port fell after civilian. The pattern you're seeing.
Esse aqui
Leave it here. Market. Came. That bracket of mine broke. He came back later. All in isolated areas. Every shaft from below. He hit my sturdy, fell a little bit later. The corpse under the existing tent. Purchase. That is, the sector mine is here. That's why I like it for these patterns. With time in the operating step. Here too. 1 minute and here. The minute. Who to buy for the next candle, taking care of the weather. You've been operating here in 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, you know, you're here at 5 grand as well. Also buying for the next time.
certo?
So that's why the deal stops on all fours, because I like it so much offered. Already had. A lot of flexibility. Deliver one more example. See where they can sometimes be wrong with the market. Leaves right here in. Market. Zima. Debated here. Then it broke up. They say he did.
Esse aqui veio.
European. Returned.
Esse aqui veio.
European returned, then fell. Now any problem? Remember I told you about the amount of whom God had to look to operate. So you never forget that you get into that pattern here. He's going to give 1, 2, 3, that's still made up.
Certo? Então,
This pattern. Here too. He's similar. It happened around here. Because you lost a 2, 3 that still fall. Got a little buyer strength in here. That he supported after he fell. That is, he in the long run made that move here.
tô aqui, ó. Certo?
So you have to sustain the detail because you might think you're gonna do it here. That's where I got. Because it's worth doing with the influence of what he's forming. Understood? Because if you think the market goes up, you have to have a red belly car.
Barriga verde. Certo?
Because if this here you can get bought with the market, it goes up. Now, it's here if I'm seeing this pattern you defended on time. That's who defines the red belly.
Você sabe que o mercado vai vir para baixo. Entendeu?
So that's probably what happened. Each did not come. Entered purchase. That is, may have bought with the market, go upstairs. Now it's here if I'm looking at this pattern that defended the demline, this one with a red belly.
Barriga vermelha. Você sabe que o mercado vai vir para baixo. Entendeu?
So that's probably what happened. Each did not come. Entered purchase. That is, the market came. Entered, bought, give discharge, made. Because I follow. brought the prediction that if there is a voter, if the purchase here after a beach house. You couldn't have walked in here thinking she'd do it. But if that's not possible, I don't want it down here. Would conform. I didn't get bought in. The ones you have to look at drawing are looking here.
Tá?
I know it gets a little contradictory that I told you that. I'd do an hour more down here. Don't look why causes end up risking now. Because I end up risking, because it already has a screen time, so sometimes. Most of the time I just arose. I know how you wait. You can decide when, but you haven't paid 10. Even if I don't look here I don't know if it was, like just have to be careful. When you pick up the standard 4 for 1 drawing. Did you ever try to look at who? Board has time to explain the time we have about. When it will give a pattern, will end up entering, and not by entering. The positive partner I call nerves, I think it is A. Which is a sign of purchase at the end, if not due.
Certo?
But that business, in doubt. Purchase, does not sell the car south in the north. Really, good, then, I think, at first, Columbus videos as hell. Found out I actually spoke almost 2 hours. I didn't want to operate much, the idea is older. To understand how it works, I hope you haven't abandoned your head. Have you understood? Doubt? Guys, please leave it in the comments. There's a right of the group. Sharp Volta explaining to you shattered the toothpick if you want in my WhatsApp group makes a late review decided. Explain. Pausely, at every entrance to the house, they say that in this now. All in the name of understanding the games. Sign in too. That we talk, beauty is down. So we make a law available only to the places of educators like 6. Get here with the following got to work the ball on the head. Work things. What not? Those who are here. The fight against the descent of tabletop. A hug. Until next time, the guys.